Hello and welcome back again to my channel. And in today's video we are going to be looking at wildcards, and we are probably going to go a step beyond that to using wildcards with the where clause, alright, and the select from statement. Alright, and so yeah, if you are not aware, we've begun our SQL or SQL series on data analytics for beginners. Alright, you can check out my channel, my YouTube channel, or I've already posted, I've already posted videos on Power BI. Alright, and so if you're a beginner wanting to get into the field of data analytics and you want to get to know how to use Power BI and SQL, Microsoft Excel, Tableau, Python for data analytics, then be sure to subscribe to this channel as I take you through all of it. And so yeah, let's move on right to the topic for today, which is wildcards. Now, when we say wildcards, what exactly is wildcards, or what exactly are wildcards? Okay, and so what wildcards does is that, so let me start with a scenario. Let me give you a scenario. So imagine you have a data set, all right, and you are looking for a specific person. Okay, you are looking for a specific person, but assuming you've forgotten the name of the person, you just remember some letters in the person's name. Probably you are looking for Jerry. Okay, Jerry, details about Jerry, but you are not entirely sure how the Jerry is spelled. Okay, you know it starts with a J-E-R, but you are not entirely sure how it ends. Does it end with an R-Y or R-I-E? Okay, and so in this regard, even though you are looking for a specific person, you cannot use a where, because with the where clause or the where statement, you need to type that's the specific name of the person for you to be able to get returns on what you are looking for. Okay, and so in the case of Jerry, if you had to spell Jerry J-E-R without knowing the other words, it's not going to return anything. Now let me show you an example of what I mean. Let's assume that we have this particular data, okay, and we are looking for people from the state of Port Harcourt. All right, but let's say you don't know how to spell Port Harcourt. Okay, you don't know how to spell Port Harcourt, but you need people from that particular state. Okay, and so you write select all from marketing where state is equal to, now you don't know how to spell Port Harcourt, so you just want to start with something with the assumption that you are going to get a rest. So you know how to spell the port, but you probably do not know how to spell the Port Harcourt. All right, you don't know how to spell the Port Harcourt, so you don't know the full name for the thing that you are looking for. All right, now if you try using the where statement or the where clause like this, what you are going to get is that you are going to get nothing. It's going to tell you that there's nothing like that. Meanwhile, the data has shown or is showing that there's actually a place in this particular data set that is called Port Harcourt, but because you've only spelled port, and port is not an entire item in this particular space, it's going to give you, now it's going to say, okay, so there's nothing in that particular, or there's no return for you, okay, based on what you are asking for. All right, because this is what you are asking for and there's no return for, it's going to give you nothing. All right, and so this is where the wildcards come into play. Okay, so with the wildcards, you don't necessarily have to know how to spell the entire thing. As long as you know some of the characters in that particular column, the wildcards will help you to do what? To still go ahead and get the informations. All right, we will still go ahead and help you get information. Now there are two main wildcards that are mostly used in SQL. All right, two main wildcards, and this is the percentage sign and then the underscore sign. All right, so these are the two main wildcards that you normally use, or you should be using in SQL if you are searching for something and you don't know the entire spelling. The percentage sign and the underscore sign. Now mostly I prefer to use the percentage sign, and you might be asking why. You see, what the percentage sign does is that it helps you get informations on anything regardless. Okay, regardless on how many more items come after the particular alphabet that you've given or before the particular alphabet that you're given. Whereas the underscore, when you use an underscore, you should add the number of the underscore numbers that you think matches up with the name or the characters in that particular item that you're looking for. Now I will explain it to details. All right, but then what I'm trying to say is that with the percentage sign, it's helping you to look for anything, while with the underscore, is very specific. All right, you need to be very specific on what you're actually looking for. Okay, so that's how we can use both. All right, so let's see how we can use this in a working setting. All right, let's see. So assuming this same thing, all right, this same statement that we've written. Okay, now let's see how the wildcard can help us. All right, so it says select all from marketing where state is this. All right, now another thing that I need to mention is that the wildcard goes with something we call like. Okay, the wildcard goes with like. So the wildcard doesn't work with operators like the equal to or greater than or less than or not equal to or greater. No. The wildcard doesn't work with items like that. Whenever you use the wildcard, it goes with what we call like. So the like clause. All right. So you can use the like clause in combination with the where statement, the select, and then the from statement. All right. But you cannot use the wildcards with operators like equal to, less than, or greater than. No, it wouldn't work. Do you understand? So in this case, where I say select all from back to where state, so even if I'm to use this, you realize that this is still not going to work. Okay, this is still not going to work. It's still showing me there's nothing in there. All right, so you don't use the wildcards with operators like this, but what you do is you use the wildcards with this like. All right, you use a wildcards with like. All right, now the position of the wildcards determines what you are actually doing. If the position of the wildcard is before port, so before I even do that, let me try this for you to see so that it's not as if I'm being biased. All right, so let me say this. Okay, now let's see if this works. So this is still giving us this. So now you've seen that either way it's still not working, and that is simply because of this operator. Okay, the wildcard doesn't work with operators like that. All right, so if that is out of the way, now let me explain what I was saying. So in this regard, all right, this wildcard, the position of it is very much important. Now that I've placed it right over here after the port, it simply means that we are looking for all alphabet or any other character that comes after the port. All right, so any other character that comes after the port is represented by this percentage sign. Okay, it's represented by the percentage sign. Likewise, I can remove this and put it right here. Put it right here, and this is simply saying is that instead of the port coming, it simply means that there should be items before the port, or there should be characters that is in conjunction with the port but comes before the port. And so if I still run this is still going to give me nothing. Why? Because port Harcourt, the port comes before the Harcourt. Do you understand? The port comes before the Harcourt. And so if you are saying that you want everything that comes before the port, then it's still going to show you nothing. But if I'm to take this and bring this right here, okay, and now I select this and execute, now it's giving me information because now I'm indicating that this particular word is port Harcourt, meaning the port comes before any other characters, and so this is serving as all the other characters which comes after the port, and that is why you can see that now it's showing or it's returning some value. So this is now port Harcourt, where the percentage sign represents the Harcourt side of it. But if I bring this right over here in front, then it's showing that there should be characters before the port, which in this particular case we don't have like that. All right, and so an example is this. So let's say that we want Abuja. All right, and so what I'm going to say is that I'm going to say now this should come here. All right, but we have words like this in. Okay, so what is simply trying to tell us is that, or even not all of this, but it ends with an A. All right, so let's say something like this. So select all from marketing where the state like, okay, there are characters coming before the A, so it means that there are characters in combination with the last alphabet, which is A. So if I run this, now it's going to return this value because there are characters that comes before an A. So all the characters that has an ending of A, you realize that they are going to show up. So unless the character does not have any ending of A, it's not going to show up. But if the character has or ends with an A, it's going to show up here in our returns, because this simply saying is that anything, right, anything over here that comes before the A, that is what we want for this particular column, the state column. Don't forget to work with the state column. All right, and so it's going to show right over here. Now likewise, if I remove this and put this right over here, now this is saying that the characters should come after A. Okay, and so A is a beginning character, and then all other characters that come after we want. All right, and so if I select this and I execute this, you are still going to see this right over here showing that. All right, and so this is how you can use the percentage sign with the like and the wildcards. All right, okay, so now let's talk about the underscore. So how does the underscore works? So like I already established or I explained earlier, so with the underscore, the number of character spacing, all right, needs to be correct, all right, needs to be accurate. So what I simply mean by this when I say that is that, now if you look at this Abuja, all right, you see that Abuja has how many characters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Abuja has 5 characters, all right. And so if you're using an underscore and you begin with the A and then you make the other characters 3, so you make underscore, you give it 3 underscores, it's not going to return any value. What do I mean by this? So this, let's copy this, paste this right here. All right, and instead of this, I'm going to say underscore. Now if I do this, all right, and I execute this, even though there's a column or an item in this particular column beginning with an A, okay, but the underscore works differently. So if I execute this, it's still going to return nothing. And you might be asking or wondering why is giving nothing. Like I said, with underscore, when you use the underscore, that particular column, the characters needs to be accurate. They need to be what that particular characters needs to be. Okay, and so let's go back here, execute this whole thing, and now I'm going to say, all right, you know what, I probably know that Abuja has 5 characters. Okay, I'm just not sure how to spell Abuja, but I know it has 5 characters. Okay, and so what I can do is that I'll begin with the A because Abuja no begins with that A. All right, but let's say maybe I think it's spelled Aboja. Which is wrong. Clearly, you can see from here. So if I spell it Aboja, then I probably use a word clause, but the spelling is wrong, so it will return nothing. Okay, and so what I can do is that I'm going to say, okay, so A, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 other words. All right, that comes after the A. 4 characters that I'm not sure how to spell them. And so with this regard, what I can do is I can just say, okay, so underscore 1, underscore 2, underscore 3, and underscore 4. Now, this will return Abuja. Yeah, this is returning Abuja because I've specified how many more characters comes after the A. Do you understand? With the underscore. So now it's returning. But if I'm to take one underscore out, it's not going to return anything. It's going to assume there's no item like that in that data set. All right. And so yes, personally, I like to use the percentage sign. If I'm not entirely sure of what I'm looking for, I just like to use a percentage sign, assuming I know the first character or I know the last character. All right, and that helps me to pinpoint and get the information that I'm looking for. But all the same, this is how you can use the wildcards in conjunction with the word clause, the select statement, and then the from statement. All right, and so yeah, if this is something that you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next one. Like I always say, don't forget to stay safe, and yeah, catch you in the next one. Bye.